Hey guys, I'm back. So I was scrolling through YouTube and I came upon this video that I think that will tie into my last video, Married at First Sight. It's a wrap. Um, so to get, like I said, kind of tie into that, and you can gain a perspective on what I was trying to say. I do this kind of stuff on my other channel, so I'm thinking about doing it on this one too. But this is just such an important topic to me that I just thought that it was worth it for me to put this video up. Let me know what you think. Okay.
Are behind me and why they're special to me. So thank you for being here. The Democrats defied expectations. They defied historical trends. Typically, the party of the president tends to lose ground during the midterm elections. And according to reporting from NPR, the average seat loss in the House has been 28 since World War II. It has been 43 seats when the president's Gallup poll approval rating was below 50%. And for Democrats in particular, the last four lost an average of 45 House seats in the midterm after they were elected. Hence all that red wave talk that never materialized. But I know that things went better for Democrats, better than expected for Democrats. But I want to spend some time talking today about one demographic in particular that continues to vote for Republicans on a consistent basis. And that is a demographic that I am a part of. That demographic is white women. White women. When we look at white women, they have consistently voted for Republicans for decades. And according to exit polls in 2016, the data shows anywhere from 40 to 55% of white women voted for Donald Trump. And then even more white women voted for Donald Trump in 2020. According to data analysis from Pew Research Center, white women, a group sometimes categorized as swing voters and who broke nearly evenly in 2016, 47% for Trump and 45% for Clinton, favored him in 2020, 53% to 46%. From 47% in 2016 to 53% in 2020. After everything, after grab him by the pussy, after she isn't attractive enough for me to sexually assault, after cheating on his pregnant wife with a porn star. I mean, these are just transgressions that involve women, right? They don't even count the authoritarian impulses. We're not even talking about the racism. We're not even talking about, the litany of flaws within this person's moral character. But if we want to get contemporary with how white women are voting, because maybe you're watching this saying, well, that's Donald Trump. Maybe white women have started to learn their lesson. Apparently not, if we look at Georgia. In Georgia, 68% of white women voted for Herschel Walker. Yes, Herschel Walker, the man who is against exceptions for abortions and yet has paid for at least one abortion, two in the reporting, at least two abortions. He's against any exceptions for abortion, but he has paid for them in the past. And 68% of white women voted for him instead of Raphael Warnock. That's something that we can fix because there is a runoff in Georgia. That is something that we can fix. I'm going to get to that in a bit, though. 72% of white women voted for Brian Kemp for governor in Georgia over Democrat Stacey Abrams. Remember, this is the same Brian Kemp that was caught on tape saying that he would be open to banning contraception. Yeah, that Brian Kemp.
I gotta ask, in my Constitution class, we're talking about how the Dobbs decision went back to the states. During that, can you ban Plan B in that process since everything's now at the state level? Because
you can take up pretty much everything, but you ain't got to be in legislative session to do that.
Is that something Is that something you could do? Obviously after you win and everything.
Just depends on where the legislators are.
But if they're on board, we can do that. Because
I think I'd have to check and see.
So what is this? And I'm genuinely asking here because this is something that we need to work to change. And when I say we, I'm talking to other white women. I'm talking to myself because if we want the change that we wish to see in this country, if we want the policies put into place that will improve people's lives, Democrats need to be elected. And if white women are consistently voting for Republicans, we have a problem on our hands because they are the largest voting bloc. So I'm genuinely asking, and I've been looking into this a little bit, and I found this interview in The Cut with Jane June, a political science and gender studies professor at the University of Southern California. And in the article, this professor is quoted as saying, "These women have agreed to accept second-class status with their gender as long as the Republican Party puts them first with race and keeps them safe." And this seems to make sense to me. And it's prompting some introspection, some reflection on white women that I know in my life that have voted for Republicans or that I suspect have voted for Republicans. And it reminds me actually of when I was a teenager, I took a friend of mine to get an abortion. And I remember very few things about the experience. I remember knowing at the time that it was the obvious right thing to do. I remember that it caused a conflict in our friend group, that most of the friend group was against the decision. And I remember like laughing and singing in the fast food drive-thru afterward when she was a little bit loopy on the drug that they gave her to sedate her. And I think she now votes for Republicans. She's not very politically active. I'm distantly connected. We lost touch over the years, but I suspect that she votes for Republicans primarily because of her COVID-19 conspiracy posts during the pandemic. Now, if my hunch is correct that she votes for Republicans, I wonder how many women are in this same position. And by that, I mean, how many women have benefited from a right that they are now voting to revoke and take away from other people? I talk a lot about the Turnaway study, which is the first longitudinal study to look at the differences between women who obtained wanted abortions and women who were denied wanted abortions, and looks at the consequences of having been denied a wanted abortion. And data from the Turnaway study shed some light on women who hold anti-abortion attitudes that actually seek out abortions. Roughly 1 in 5 women seeking abortions in the Turnaway study believed abortion should be illegal or considered it morally wrong. How do women reconcile their belief that abortion is murder, it's morally wrong, it should be illegal, with then going and getting or seeking an abortion themselves? Well, research, including from the Turnaway study, suggests that they find a way to categorize their abortion as somehow different than other abortions. They find ways to explain away the individual circumstance of their abortion as being morally righteous or necessary, whereas other people's are not. And the cruelty of benefiting from a right that you then vote to take away from other people is bewildering. And I'm struggling with this. And I'm genuinely curious what other people believe about why it is that white women are consistently the ones voting for Republicans. And this is a white woman problem because even more white women voted for the Republican Party in 2022, this year, than in 2018. It was up 8%. And this is post the overturning of Roe, post headlines about children crossing state lines to obtain abortions after being raped. This is after Lindsey Graham is calling for a federal abortion ban. How can we reach white women? And again, when I say we, I'm talking about white women because women of color, Black women, they are doing a lot to elect Democrats to ensure that policies are put into place that are allowing for the flourishing of people, that prevent oppression. And white women are not helping in this process. They are hindering in this process. So what can we do? And this is an open question. I would invite you in the comments to tell me what you think. I know that starting with me, I can do a lot better within my own social connections to reach out to white women that I know or suspect vote for Republicans and engage with them directly. I think it's time that instead of pushing away family members that we disagree with politically, pushing away friends that we disagree with politically, that we realize how serious this is. And if this large voting bloc of white women continues to vote for Republicans, it's going to be a hindrance going forward in improving people's lives and getting the policies that we want in this country to see the world that we want. So it's a challenge to me. It's a challenge to other white women out there watching. It's a question for everybody. I mean, what should we be doing to reach white women? What can we do to change this? So what do you think? I'd love to know. Tell me in the comments below. You can call 657-464-7609. And of course, you can email at idoubtit@dollemore.com. So we are getting things off the ground here. It's going well so far. I appreciate.
So I'm going to stop it there. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. No matter what religion we are, look at what the women over in Iran, are doing right now. This is the kind of stuff that we're going to have to ask ourselves. And I super challenge Christian women because part of what I'm going to leave a comment in her on this video that I just shared with you, and I'm going to put it in the description box so you guys can, it's worth a second listen, so you can listen to it here, and then you can go back and actually listen to it again using the link below from her channel. If you want to support her, she has all of that stuff at the beginning, of the video. But yeah, it just kind of goes, like I said, back to what I was saying on the last Married at First Sight video that I talked to you guys, on Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale. And the only reason why women would be nutty enough to do that to another woman is because of religion. I'm gonna take a liberty and I'm gonna challenge black women. We've been handed a bill of goods. So let's go back and look at what we talked about with Adam and Eve, right? So everybody's mad at Eve because she showed up with that fruit that she knew doggone well that she wasn't supposed to have. Okay, fine. So what Adam has done with that situation, it is now enfolded it into this religious message, number one. So you take not just that religious message, but the whole of religion. And black men brought Christianity to black women to the detriment of our children and our children's 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 children. And it's really insane that today there are more black women in church than there are black men. Okay? So these are jokers that brought it to us in the first place. And so now you got black women believing harder in Christianity than the men that actually brought it to us. Okay? So that's number one. And then number two, look at the jokers that black women are supporting in the pulpit. I'll take New Birth Church in Atlanta, Georgia. This is a church that is one of the most ridiculous. Every time I think about New Birth, I think about Laodicea. And you go look that up. It's in Revelation 3. That is New Birth. And the joker that was in there before, the nut that they got in there now, Eddie Long, that joker was a pedophile. And they supported his line. Oh, this joker was one of the biggest liars. You talk about a charlatan, a wolf in sheepskin. This was Eddie Long. And they supported this joker while he was lying the whole time he was dying. And now they got another nut up in there, Jamal Bryant. Oh my God, I can't. Oh, this joker, he done cheated on his wife with people from his church. And I think one of them was a 17-year-old girl. So yeah, man. Oh wow, I can't because I would go somewhere. Look, if I continue to talk about them jokers, I would go somewhere. So yeah, I challenge black women. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then the other thing is, when I get ready to talk about Katina and Elijah, I actually gonna have a whole lot to say about the black women that sat there and ignored all of the craziness that this man put on in front of us every week. That Joker did not miss one episode showing us how ridiculous he was all the way up until decision day. So yeah, I'll be, talking about that. But thank you for letting me go on my rant. I didn't intend to do this when I decided to post the video. But yeah, so I'll be, talking about that on my on that Isaac and Katina video, and then I'll be sharing more on the story time. So thank you for your time and attention, and that's it.